All right.
Okay,
Cool.
the broadcast is on. So, all right, so we'll just go through the reading again. So part 1 says to discuss the following questions, and the first question is, what is health literacy and why is it important?
Okay, health. Can I go? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Health literacy is the ability that a person has to understand basic health concepts. And the other question is, why is important? I think it's really important because the health educator needs to try to speak slowly so the person can understand him or her. And also sometimes it depends how if the health educator can interact with a person, because sometimes when they are from other cultures, it is like kind of different to interact with them. I had an experience about this because I remember when I came here in to the United States and I was pregnant. It was kind of crazy because when I went to the doctor, I couldn't understand him really well what he was trying to tell me. So it was kind of crazy. So I know what is health literacy and why it's important.
That's a really good example.
Because like what you were saying, it like helps people be able to make the correct decisions. Like you wouldn't, if you didn't know or didn't eventually understand, maybe you didn't eventually understand the doctor, but he had to make it clear enough so that you could make the decision for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to like if the doctor doesn't speak, the same language or not even that, but if like a doctor is trying to explain something to a little child, they have to, or even like an older adult, they have to like adapt to the certain way of explaining it so that it's easier for them to understand and that they can make the decision themselves.
Yeah, and I also had another experience because when I was in California, you need to take your test to have your permit. And I took it in Spanish, but the Spanish that they use is like Mexican Spanish, and I didn't understand anything. The second time that I went, I said, okay, I prefer the test in English. So I passed the test in English, and in Spanish I couldn't pass it. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Okay. Awesome. Well, does anyone else have anything to add to that? I think that was a good explanation and a great example too. So the next question says, it says review the Shannon-Weaver models of 7 key components. So I think that's referring to the sender, encoding, message, channel, decoding, receiver, and noise on that. So
yeah,
kind of explain those a little bit. Basically, it's like the way that the message gets to the receiver. So you have the sender, the person who's talking, and the noise can be like the distraction in between. You have the encoding, which is like I think that was the example that they used is in World War II, that they had the Native American language in the they would use the Native American language to code, so that way Germans couldn't intercept our messages. And it was really successful because no one knew Native American. So anyway, that was an example that they gave, but it's just basically how the message gets to the receiver.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, well, so the next question 3 says, watch the following visual public service announcement, texting and driving, and identify the 7 key components. So did you guys watch that?
Yeah, that was a crazy video.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. Yeah. Well, yeah. So the sender is the ABC News, something like that, right?
Mhm.
And the encoding is English because it was in, they use English. And the message was don't text while you are driving. And the channel was video news. I don't know how to. What would you say?
I would say more, I don't know, probably TV or internet, because it's short enough to be an ad.
Oh, okay.
But as well, I could see it being on like TV
Okay.
for like, yeah, just a minute or so.
Okay. So the decoding is how people understand this message. And the receiver is everyone who is watching the video. And noise, I don't think that I noticed something. Maybe in the part that both cars stop and they start like talking. I don't know.
Yeah, noise can be a lot of different things. It says to evaluate the public service announcement and discuss the components as well as the message to you. So what kind of message do you feel like they were sending?
That we don't need to. Yeah, we shouldn't text while we are driving.
Right. Yeah, that one was pretty. I feel like that was pretty clear.
I don't know. Like to me, like whenever they got out of the cars and were like talking to each other, I don't know, it kind of felt as if like, I don't know, the woman was asking as far as kind of like, what are you doing and everything like that. But it just seemed as if the girl was just kind of like, yeah, this is my conscious choice to be able to text and to drive and to be able to run into you, which I don't know, it seemed kind of clouded in my opinion, but I mean, I just don't know if that's necessarily true. But it's at least it raised kind of awareness to me that this is a choice that you're making, whether it's conscious or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
I didn't think of that. I think everyone has theirs on mute, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it loud? Should we put it all on mute again if we're not speaking? Or is it okay? It's okay on my end, so.
It's good on mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't know if like there's sound and then it's coming through and bouncing off or whatever.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what components are strong and what could they have done differently?
I don't have an idea. Sorry.
In the video, right?
What was that?
In the video.
Oh, yeah, in the video. I'm sorry. I don't know if I made that clear, but yeah.
Well, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, like the obvious is like getting the message across. I think like it got a message across and that was good. I don't know what else. Improvement.
I think as far as I don't know, possibly in the I don't know, the decoding factor maybe. Just as far as the that the message is given to the receiver. I felt that in the commercial, it had a lot of implied statements rather than just a black and white this and this. Like rather than stating fact, it was more banking on the fact that you know it's wrong, don't do it.
Right, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it did. You're right. That's a good, I like that. That's good. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's true, a lot of people do know it's wrong, but sometimes we need that smack in the face. So, it's true. Okay, so how did the message change behavior?
Is that solely within the message itself? Or
Yeah.
is that like, oh, okay.
I would say, yeah, at least that's how did the message, so.
I feel that maybe this message can change behavior for a short period of time, but I don't think that has the ability to change behavior for a long time. Because when I saw the message, when I watched the video, I said, oh, maybe yeah, it's not good to text and drive at the same time.
Mhm.
But after one day I forget and I was like with my cell phone in the car. So yeah, so I feel that maybe has an impact on people, among people, like during a short period of time, but maybe people after they watch the video, after one day they don't remember anything.
Yeah,
I feel like PSAs or posters or booths or any type of, I guess, health communication is just really creating awareness. I don't know if it actually changes behavior unless it's in a student teacher, like continual tracking your progress type of changing behavior. I don't know if the video actually made a, like what, Nasla, right? Am I saying that correct? Okay, said is like a short period of time awareness.
Yeah.
mhm. And sometimes, oh, go ahead, Alex.
Okay. I was just going to add, as far as I completely agree with what Tehani and Neslev said. And just something that, like, as far as what I thought immediately whenever I started watching it was that it's appealing a lot to, I don't know, just like the pathos part of humanity, which is just invoking like sadness or pity or guilt kind of in it. And that's what I felt like the entire time, is just like, it just feels like they're guilt tripping me into, you're going to feel so bad if you text and drive. Don't do it, which is a lot of tactics to get teenagers.
Yeah.
Because scaring them, it's using fear to be able to just show you're going to regret it, even though they are, but even more so.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes,
So I guess I have a question for that. How can you not induce fear in the teenagers, but also be educative where they do change their behavior?
I think for that, it's mostly you just have to create just a health, it's like a solely health educational program where you teach them the facts, but it could also be scary too, because you might show them, other people who have died from texting and driving. And I think texting and driving kind of will always instill some kind of fear, because at least for me, if I ever text and drive, which is hardly ever, but sometimes I am guilty of doing it. When I do it, I do feel guilty. I think, oh my gosh, if someone else sees me, they're gonna be like, oh, she's texting and driving. And then I also think, well, what if someone walks out in front of me? I get this fear, because the results that can come from texting and driving is a fearful thought to me. So.
Cool. Like for me, I don't hardly ever text and drive either. But like when I do, I just never consciously think of what you consciously think about, I feel like, which is nice that you do.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like they start so young, texting and driving. It's such a natural thing to have your phone in your hand, and it just almost comes as second nature, you know?
But I also feel that looking at your phone, so to look at your map so you don't get lost, is the same thing that texting and driving.
Yeah.
Because I don't text while I'm driving, but I always try to look at my map because I don't want to get lost. But I feel that sometimes you're not aware about everything that is around you, so kind of dangerous too. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I sometimes I think of those, and they're always terrible. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they'll have kids or adults who say, "Yeah, I text and drive," and then they have someone who has been seriously injured or whose life has been affected by someone who texted and drove and hit them or something, and they'll come in and say, "Hey, don't do this. My life was seriously messed up because of it." That, I mean, I don't know, that definitely instills a feeling of guilt and sadness. And I don't know, for me, I actually think about that sometimes when, if I do ever text and drive, I'll think like, oh, that one girl who, that's really, I know that's weird, but I really honestly do. Like I just imagine her just sitting next to me in the car and just like shaking her head. It's just terrible, but I've seen those way too many times, so yeah.
That's
But-
good to have that. It's good.
Yes.
I think as far as like anything, it just really depends on like the students or the receiver as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because anytime my school did like a scare tactic or things like that on me, it's immediately I'm out. No, I'm not listening to this, because I just don't feel like they're trying to persuade me a certain way. They're just trying to get me to not do something instead of convincing me to choose not to do it. But I think it's just a balance of both, just as far as like facts and education as well as scaring, because scaring kind of motivates you to learn, I guess, to understand.
Yeah. For some people. Yeah.
There we go. That's the key principle.
Yeah. Right.
Well, does anyone have anything else to add to that?
No.
Okay. So next we are to review the application assignment for this week and brainstorm any ideas or answer questions as a group on how to evaluate communication interventions. So we'll head over to that.
Get it.
I was kind of sad. There's not like a little form to fill out.
I know, I was actually just looking
Yeah.
for it. I was like, darn it. Oh, well. Okay, so I guess we'll just read the instructions on the application page. I'll go ahead and go first. Step 1, refer back to Chapter 11, Health Communication and Social Marketing. Review the Action Model of Communication or Shannon-Weaver Model of Communication. Review the 7 key components: sender, encoding, message, channel, decoding, receiver, and noise. For the purpose of this application, you want to identify the 7 key components in different communication interventions and evaluate it to see if and how it changes behavior.
okay, I will read. Okay, step 2, research on the internet or in your community 3 different communication intervention strategies to evaluate public service announcement, television, public service announcement, radio, static web banner, billboard, or print newspaper. A great resource is on the Ad Council's website under our campaigns. They have a number of communication intervention examples to look at.
All right.
So,
Oh.
so I have a question. Oh, you have go ahead. Do you have a question, Tehani?
No, I said I would read step 3. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So no, I have a question.
No, all is good. Okay. Did you have a question?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so we only need to research and look for 3 different communication interventions. So maybe something about, I don't know, and a billboard that talk about colon cancer, or try to raise our awareness about colon cancer, something like that.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. For each of the 3 examples chosen, identify the 7 key components from the Shannon-Weaver model of communication: sender, encoding, message, channel, decoding, receiver, and noise. List the component and then describe in detail the example for each.
Okay.
And then step 4. Sorry, I forgot it was muted. Step 4, evaluate each example by answering the following questions. What impact did the message have on you as the receiver? What noise do you think affects the message on you? How? And do you feel the message is decoded the same as it is encoded? Why? Oh, huh?
Okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah, seems easy enough. Do you guys have any questions about this assignment?
Not really.
It looks easy, but I don't know. The application assignment says that it's going to take 3 hours to finish all this. So.
Give me 10 minutes.
Yeah, it shouldn't take 3 hours.
Yeah, I was kind of scared because like the last assignment was 2 hours, and I think it took me more because I need to read and to research, and now it's 3 hours. Oh wow! But now we didn't, so I don't know. Maybe it's going to be less than 3 hours.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I'd rather do this for 3 hours than like a math or some other assignment.
Seriously.
Okay then. Well, I'll go ahead and stop broadcasting if we're all okay.
Oh, stretch. Sorry.